I'm Heather Sloan, and welcome to a special edition of Goshen Health News. Goshen Health recognizes our colleagues are our most valuable resource. While we continue our efforts to keep adequate PPE in stock, we have created an N95 Reuse Process recommended by the CDC. Let's turn it over to Heather Sloan in the newsroom. A study from the CDC evaluated the persistence of COVID-19 on various surfaces. The study concluded that the virus is able to survive for up to 72 hours. A strategy suggested by the CDC to mitigate contact transfer of the virus is healthcare workers wear an N95 each day and store in a breathable paper bag at the end of their shift. Therefore, healthcare workers are not to reuse their N95 until 72 hours have passed. Heather Sloan has more on this process.
Thank you, Heather, for that strong introduction. Now let's get to the process. You've just received your N95 kit from the distribution team. What is inside this bag is 1 twine bag, 4 brown paper bags, and 4 of your N95 masks. The first thing you're going to do is take everything out of your twine bag. Unpackage your N95s if necessary. You're going to write your name and colleague ID number on your twine bag, and then you're going to label each of these brown bags as number 1, and I would write date on it. Number 2, and write the word date. Number 3, and number 4. And so those are all prepared. The next thing you're going to do with your unpackaged N95s is on the side of it, you're going to write your name, your ID number, your colleague ID number, and what mask this is. We're asking that you don't write on this part of the mask, it stays to the edge. So as you can see on this side of my mask, I wrote my name, my colleague ID number, and this is my mask number 1. This number 1 will just correlate then with my bag number 1. And mask number 2 with bag number 2, mask number 3 with 3, and 4 and 4. So the first day that I'm working, I will grab my number 1 mask and number 1 bag, and I will put that on. This will all stay in the colleague designated area for the unit. When I have completed my shift for the day, I will need to mark a dash on it. You can do this in the beginning of the shift if that's easier for you, at the end of your shift. This dash is just another correlation of that you've worn this one time for one shift, along with writing your date that I've worn it for this date and one time. Then you're going to place your number 1 mask in your number 1 bag. With a Delta, you can keep everything pretty flat. The Moldex and the 3M8000 are same process with everything, just it's going to take up a little bit more room in your twine bag. So then you're going to place your number 1 bag into your twine bag. The idea is to have it at the bottom. So the dirtiest mask or the most recent used mask goes in the bottom. And then all my other masks would go on top, with my next mask being what's gonna be on top of my bag. And then my bag would hang in my unit in the designated storage area, ready for me to come back for my next shift to use. And the process would start all over again with the next mask of number 2, and then the same thing for the next day of number 3, and the next day number 4. As long as I'm leaving 3 days between the use of the masks.
Heather, thank you for that report on the N95 reuse process. Please tell me, how do colleagues store their mask for breaks and lunches?
Thank you, Heather, for that great question. When I come off the unit for a lunch or for break, I'm going to doff my N95 and hang it on a specified hook in my unit, whether that be in the doffing area on a COVID unit or a specific area of a break room for non-COVID areas, and even other departments. Or there's brown paper bags on the unit. What I'm gonna do is just rip off the top part. And so it'll look like this. I'll write my name and colleague ID number. And because the bag is shortened, there's no big scare of reaching into a dirty bag to get my mask. Place my N95 mask in there and hang it in the area.
Thank you, Heather, for that field reporting. Goshen Health colleagues are encouraged to follow the standard work of the reusing N95s for further clarifications on this process. Thank you, Goshen, and stay healthy.